Welcome back to A Good Fire channel. Today I wanted to talk about the Russian Circle of Light Festival and what the elite put out there through their symbols. Now, this is just one example of many where they're everywhere. They're in media, commercials, ads. It's all over the internet. Thousands of images being thrown at us, but some are more revealing than others. Like, in this instance, I believe they sent a pretty strong message here, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what your interpretation is in the comments, but I want you to take a look at this because this festival in Russia is supposed to be family friendly, got people watching it, and it starts out innocent enough, and it starts with some callbacks to history of their country. Now, I'm not too sure about the specifics of that, but this was in 2019. Okay, 2019, but I want to preface with this, that when they show you things and they show you their plans, it's usually, in my experience, it's usually a very long-term thing. There are certain events that have come to pass that they've been planning, that they have been talking about through symbols for decades. Okay, but I digress on that. I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about because this was 2019. And in the first, I'm going to skip to the part of the video where there's just a couple minutes of just really creepy symbols and messaging. And I'm going to leave it to you mostly. I'm going to give you what I think the interpretation is, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. But it's not good, right? And it has a lot to do with what's going on with a certain sickness that's going around right now, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're still in the historical section of this video, and I think it's about the 3-minute mark. Things change a little bit here. So we've got this stage, whatever this is presenting here. We have these two figures that walk up. It looks like a father and a child. Okay. Notice the color change too. We got like a purplish, bluish hue. Maybe some pinks in there. You can probably see that. But we have this hexagram. Okay. I'm gonna go back. I missed it. I'm gonna go back just a couple seconds here. We have the purple hexagram here. And of course it says 2020 at the top, just to the left of it. And it's going to zoom in on this. But I think this is a very obvious reference to Saturn. Okay? The symbol represents I'm going to go into the planet here first, but I want you to take a look at that hexagon. And now look here. All right, this is a photo taken by the Cassini satellite. I'm not sure how long ago. It was pretty recent, but this is a storm. This is the picture of a storm at the northern pole of Saturn, a storm that's been raging there for decades. Okay, and we've got the blue, pinkish, purplish color emanating from the storm, and these people who put out these symbols, they worship Saturn, the deity. And the deity has a correlation to the planet, of course. The planet was named after it. So when they reference the planet, they're referencing the deity. So I'm going to make the case for that. This is interesting. Well, I'm going to go through this really quick. This guy, this is speculation, but people always speculate because there's a long history in the occult and mythology that Saturn is related to Satan. Etymologically speaking, it's Set, Saturn, Satan. They're all based in the same word to start with, but here's someone speculating that Saturn could be Satan's prison, the prison that it talks about, that Satan's confined to until the last days, and he's released at various times. I'm not going to go too far into that specifically yet, but This is just another correlation between that. Okay. The what I also wanted to point out was that when you look at the hexagon, okay, when you look at this hexagon, it is when you look at a cube in 2 dimensions, it looks like a hexagon. So this also can be a reference to a cube, which coincidentally, if you believe in coincidence, that, I think that there's more to it than that, but I want you to take a look at the black cube of Saturn, which is associated with Saturn, of course. This is a, see if I can get it. Yeah. There are occultic art installations all over the world. Here we have Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santa Ana, and here's some band artwork referencing the black cube. Here we are. Yeah. There's just a deep occult tie to the black cube of Saturn. We've got various sculptures. And to me, these are messages from the occult, telling you what they have to tell you what they're going to do and what they're doing. And on some level, subconsciously, it's communicated to you and you accept it. If you accept it, most do. 99% do. It gives them sort of power over you, a spell, almost. But I wanted to, you see here, here's another picture of Saturn's, a darkened picture. This is before they added color, a colorization to the storm on the actual planet Saturn. And there are also weird sort of studies about, here's many books. Here's one example of many. Saturn, a new look at an old devil. Because it's just it's become an archetype. And Saturn, Set, Satan, however you want to say it, they're all etymologically connected. There's a strong connection there. I guess that's what I'm trying to convey here. Here's some old artwork where Saturn is also known to the Greeks as Kronos or Cronus, who is also the god of time. And you can see a sort of horned figure here standing in front of the planet, his silhouette against the backdrop of the planet, the actual planet, and the rings. And of course, Cronus or Kronos was often depicted with a sickle. And of course, that ties into the archetype of death, the ruler of hell, death. These kind of connotations come up when you see these symbols. But this is a clear reference to Satan here. There's just one of many. These are just countless everywhere. It's just sort of in the unconscious or subconscious mind of the masses that this is, and it's just well, documented in the occult. So just one more example really quickly is a book that I think covers this. I'm just going to read the description really quickly here. Liber to Lucifer is another gem from 616 in the beginning of the 4th and the 6th trilogies in total. It was the original text from which all others sprang. It consists of songs, aphorisms, rituals, mudras, and images of the light bringer and the divine androgen. It is highly personal, yet paradoxically open to all who identify themselves as Luciferians, Satanists, or Setians, those who follow the left-hand path of Lucifer, Satan, or Set. See, we have yet another conflation here of Saturn, Satan, Set, Lucifer, the light bringer. And it's also noteworthy that the festival itself that we're looking at here is the Festival of Lights. That's what it's called. That to me is kind of noteworthy. But so we go back to the 3-minute mark here. All right. So yeah, we have the hexagon, which to me represents the satanic energy this satanic system, because of the reference to Saturn, Satan, that this symbol represents, and what we've got other hexagons are forming around it. Okay, sort of empty vessels. It's about this system multiplying, and I'm going to continue here. There's sort of light flowing in and out of the network, spreading, sort of affecting the entire network systemically. And you're going to see this whole structure, after being sort of implemented into the system. This may represent a country, the world, hard to say, and then we have some sort of portal overlaid on top of it that sort of shrinks down to a point. And we have the structure suddenly being sucked into a hellmouth, a black hole, and this is an image consistent with what I believe it's consistent with Revelation, where it says that hell will be on earth will become hell. They'll be allowed, through someone given keys to the pit, that hell will be unleashed, and all kinds of things are unleashed. I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. That's for another video later. But we have this black hole sucking in and consuming that structure, whatever it represented, which was the totality of the satanic system that's coming. And now we're back for a second here, and this is really interesting. These pillars that are twisting here and contorting into a different shape, you're going to see them. Excuse me. They actually turn into DNA molecules, which is, they're really saying something here. I want you to just pay attention to this, because something is being added to the DNA molecule here. Something is added, it lights up, there's a light. And now you see the effect of the DNA having an effect on the molecules, and it's spreading. This is just, to me, this is saying the spread of the satanic system, the Luciferian system that's coming, this new world religion, just this satanic energy. And it just really doesn't really look natural. The cells become translucent. And now we have this image of what I believe is their idea of the God man. Now, if you can see that, it just looks like electrical connections all over them, a network of what looks like mechanical, because it doesn't look natural, it doesn't look organic. It looks very mechanical to me. So this is an image. This is sort of what they're saying is the result of this change in DNA. Okay? And they're showing the results of that. Now they are going to go in, and we have what looks like a neural network, neurons that will start to fire here, which they do, but it shows quite a bit of activity here. It's just lighting up like crazy. There's just something fundamentally different now about this human mind. The mind doesn't light up all at once. I mean, you can take this for what it is. This next shot, I think, is pretty interesting too, because they're showing the mapping out and scanning of the human brain. Basically, the exploration, the mapping, knowing every cell, and being able to control. It's about control too, but they're mapping out everything, length, width, and height, doing a full scan here. And now this is interesting, what they overlay on top of the brain here. You get these, yet again, like in the God-man image, we have this electrical sort of artificial network, neural network going through the brain. See, the neurons, it just looks different. It doesn't look natural anymore. There's a lot of geometric shapes in there. It's just a network, an unnatural network that's been added to this mind. And now we have what looks like circuitry or a chip being overlaid on top of the brain here. And this to me is symbolizing the mapping out and total understanding and mastery of the physical mind, and then using it through scientific means to control people. Of course, I think it's for them, they want to become God men, so they don't have to go to hell. That's the bottom line. They want to avoid hell. They want to find a way to achieve immortality without God, without help from him. And they're being deceived into believing that they can do this. I think they believe it wholeheartedly, they can do this. But they're on a mission. But the circuitry, got the circuitry overlaid on the brain. And now we're back to the hexagonal network. Movement. And now this, I don't know if this looks familiar to you, but to me, this looks like the Hadron Collider. There are other parts and other gateways that look almost identical to this, but you can see that this is definitely a reference to the Hadron Collider in CERN, Switzerland, which there are a lot of things going on there. We can speculate, but there's a lot of talk of scientists who are using this cutting-edge technology that are actually becoming spiritual, which is strange because they're scientists. And we have this, they're smashing particles, if you didn't know. If you're not familiar with CERN, it's this giant 17-mile underground tunnel where they speed up molecules to faster than the speed of light and smash them together. And they want to find out the building blocks of matter, and they yield from this antimatter. They say it takes a long time but this stuff is like, it's a weapon. They can weaponize it. It supposedly has a very weird effect on human behavior. It makes people go crazy, see hallucinations when they tried to store it somewhere. I'm going to go into that in a later video, definitely. That's coming up. I'm working on that, but I'm going to digress on that. But I want you to see that it's in this gate. They have this sort of tunnel, and then outside they have this right here in the middle of the screen here. We have the statue of the Hindu god Shiva, who is the destroyer god. She destroys, she, whatever, I forget what the gender of Shiva is at the moment, but I think it's a guy. But he creates from destruction. He destroys. He does this dance of destruction. That's what he's doing. And he's in this tube, which looks like the collider, and it's a dance of destruction. And through the destruction he creates afterwards. It's almost as if it's saying that they want to create a new world because the old one is made in the image of God. That's my opinion. That's the conclusion I've come to, because they want to take it apart. They want to take everything apart, gluons and nuons, and I don't even, all these things that are smaller than atoms, even the components of atoms, smaller than electrons. It's like what makes up the electrons deep down, They would just want to take this world apart and reshape it in a different image rather than God. I think that's what it comes down to. And they're also building super weapons. So, okay, if you can see that, we have got, they're all on the same axis, but we've got three numbers, three very significant biblical numbers that you can see. I don't know. First one is sideways. If you see that, the circle that the CERN is written in, and they're all on the same axis. So starting from, you tilt your head to the right, you'll see the first one, and if you just keep going clockwise around, you'll see all three numbers. But it's written right in there in the logo. That was noteworthy. This shows up over and over in these logos with these people and these people's symbols. So let me find. Now we're back to where I left off with the collider, the reference to the collider. This shows up after the showing the brain, the change in the brain. We've got the change in the DNA, and then a mapping of the brain, men turning into gods, or trying to. And then we have this reference to the collider, particle collider. And now we have a picture of the all-seeing eye coming out. I'm gonna go back a little bit here. Pretty creepy. I think the collider itself sort of just fades into the all-seeing eye here. There's also a sun reference, which I'm not gonna go deep into that, but there's all, sun worship, the black sun, the Nazis worship the black sun. I mean, there's a lot of connections. But yeah, the pupil just surrounded by flames. It's a sun. It's the all-seeing eye. And it's looking around. And I think the final shot of this is going to have a fade away to where it's basically watching the whole world. It's kind of a aerial view. And that may even be, I'm going to have to go back and look, but I think I know where that might be, that they're zooming in on. But it's an aerial view. It's the all-seeing eye. But I wanted to also mention Revelation, which, if you're not familiar with this talks about the fifth trumpet being sounded in Revelation. And it says, "The fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star from heaven, which had fallen to the earth, and the key of the bottomless pit was given to him. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke went up out of the pit, like the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by the smoke of the pit." It's Revelation 9, 1 through 2. Okay? This, is perpetrated by, this gate is opened by an angel, a fallen angel. Now, is this Satan himself, Lucifer? We don't know. It just says that he was given the key to the bottomless pit. And it's sort of like a prison. We can go back to, let me find it. We can go back to the story here where, whether this is true or not, it's about imagining the symbols and what the significance of this stuff is. It's deeper. It's always deeper than we can possibly imagine. But this person says that Saturn could be Satan's prison. I don't know if I subscribe to that, but it's interesting. So this festival, what ends up happening, I just wanted to go back. We've got this colorful kind of show, light show, history, all this stuff. And once the eye is revealed here and everything's over, it's just this, right in the middle of this presentation, it goes back to being colorful and benign. They kind of lose this purplish hue. There's no more of this. You'll see here in a second, which I just think is strange. We're back to it goes back to the hexagon. The purple hexagon of Saturn. It's pretty obvious to me, but I think we get a little bit more radiating of the energy, the satanic energy. This is their end goal, okay? And now, boom, hey, colors, hey, everybody, happy festival, celebrate, It goes on for a few more minutes, but I just wanted to put that out there. This was in 2019. This is about their plan for transhumanism through various means. One's being implemented right now in 2021. I think it's the beginning of it. It's the precursor to a lot of this stuff. But I'm trying to keep an open mind and keep my eyes open, and I just pray that you do too. And I want to hear what your thoughts are. Leave it in the comments, whether you may have a different interpretation, and I'm open to hear it. I'd love to hear it. But We need to keep our eyes on these people because they're telling us exactly what they want to do and how they're going to do it. You know, not specifically, but the methods, the general methods that they're going to be using. And this is about transhumanism and spreading their new world religion when it comes, and it's right around the corner. So if you enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video where I'm going to be covering this stuff in more detail and depth. All right.